Hey everyone, what you're about to listen to is a slice discussion from the podcast that my friend John and I do called Hi Mom. We discuss various things, but we'll usually have a main topic. This is the main topic for that episode. If you want to listen to the full episode, we are available on podcast hosting apps like Apple, Spotify, and many more. I'll leave links in the description so that you can pick and choose where you want to listen to us for the full episodes. Thank you, and enjoy. Alright, man, so you want to talk about the Cecil Hotel, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's get to it. Meat and bones with the Cecil Hotel. What were you expecting going into it?
Okay, so I actually seen the first episode with my brother. He was probably already about 40 minutes in when I walked into him watching it, and so I already knew that it was about this girl.
Yeah.
And it was so I was like, okay, I didn't know that the whole thing was about this girl. I thought that it was just like weird things that have happened at this hotel, because when I walked in, they were talking about Skid Row, and you know they had the one guy that used to live on Skid Row, and he used to frequent the Cecil Hotel. The guy that originally was from New York. Yeah. And so I thought that it was like, okay, this episode's going to focus on this girl, and then, you know, the next episodes we're going to focus on like other people and other things. Like they had like that British that British couple. So I really didn't think that it was just going to be about this one girl. And had this documentary had been about other things about this hotel, because they're like, that first episode really goes strong on like, there is something really weird about this hotel. Like, I think that I would have liked this documentary a lot more. What about you?
Well, just the title alone kind of gave me an idea that it was going to be about Alysa Lam, because I had previously listened to a podcast about the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, and in passing, the host mentioned that he had stayed at the Cecil Hotel, and that the Cecil Hotel was just very infamous for all the things that had happened there. And he did mention Alysa Lam, so the vanishing at the Cecil Hotel kind of gave me a clue that it was going to be about her. I will say, it's not my favorite documentary that I've watched. Netflix has definitely made better ones, but it was interesting because it gave me all the details that I didn't have before, because I never really got into the case. I remember back in 2013 when it happened, and it was like all over the news and whatnot. But it never really caught my attention until they found her, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. She was in the water tank. Why didn't they check there?
Yeah.
And the reason that made me think that back then, because of The Hangover.
Oh.
Because they had mentioned that maybe there were drugs, maybe there was something shady going on. I'm like, oh, well, did they check the roof? That's why they didn't check in The Hangover. But I wasn't expecting the water tank, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the water tank either. But I found myself rolling my eyes at this documentary a lot. I think that this is one of the worst documentaries that I have seen.
Yeah. Well, let me guess one of the reasons why. Was it the web sleuths?
Yes.
Yeah, because they made me really cringe the entire time.
Dude.
Because
it's here's the thing, man. This documentary could have easily been 2 episodes. Easily 2 episodes, and then feeling like maybe like it could have just been one really long documentary, like a feature full length documentary, like like a movie. Yeah, and they use those web sleuths as padding, and anytime that they entertain any idea about the web sleuths in the documentary, like this is a really well put together documentary. Like, I mean, and what I mean by that is like the production value specifically, because like they hired voice actors, they hired actors, like recreated scenes to coincide with what they were talking about specifically. And so there was like a lot of effort going into this, but it was just like when they like padded it out with these web sleuths and coinciding those scenes to help fill in like their crazy ideas of like what could it possibly be, or what could it what it is. It like just I think the way you said it makes you cringe. I was rolling my eyes. I kept like just ugh. Episode 3 was absolutely fucking pointless.
Yeah, no, it was like they were completely unnecessary to the story. Like maybe a small feature would have been nice about them, just for us to know, like, hey, all
this actually happened. Yeah,
all these things happen behind the scene.
There were these like third parties that have nothing to do with the actual case, having a presence with the case, like giving them like a proper mention, but to actually like include some of those people from episode 1 all the way to episode 4 was giving them too much attention, I think is the word I'm looking for.
You know what I think it is? Did you watch Don't Fuck with Cats?
No, I don't know what that is.
You didn't watch it? Okay, so it's another documentary on Netflix, but these are about people that were trying to hunt down this guy that was like torturing and killing cats and putting them on videos. Oh. The thing is,
that's gruesome.
They were actually looking for a real person.
Yeah.
Right? They weren't trying to like solve a murder per se. They were just trying to figure out who this person was. And they were a lot of help in the investigation.
Okay.
So I think whoever made this documentary, or maybe at Netflix's suggestion, they try to focus more on them, because just people like to be involved, and people like to feel like they're involved. And I don't know, like maybe they try to focus just to get that demographic interested in the documentary. But honestly, like you're saying, and like I believe as well, like they were completely unnecessary, because they were no help at all. If anything, they
were a hindrance.
They were a hindrance. And dude, they legitimately damaged a person's life.
Oh my god. All right, you want to get into it now? Let's talk about it. Let's go ahead.
Let's talk about it, because it really pissed me off.
Okay.
So like throughout their investigation, these people find this guy,
Morbid,
who went Morbid. He went by the stage name Morbid, who was a black metal musician, and he stayed at the Cecil Hotel around the same time that Alysa Lam did.
He didn't. No, he stayed there an entire year before Alysa Lam was there.
Was it on that? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was stated in episode 4, and he even comes out and says it. Look, guys, I didn't kill her. Like, I was at the Cecil Hotel like a year before she was even there. I had never even heard of this girl. And then he like provided the receipts of like how he could not have possibly killed her. Like, he had contracts that had dates like stating that he's in Mexico at these recording studios working on his album in Mexico when Alysa Lam disappeared.
Yeah, but these people didn't
took a look at him.
Didn't pay attention. They took a look at him. They made a judgment. They literally judged a book by its cover. Because this is like, if you're not familiar with black metal, they tend to like, wear heavy makeup, very quote unquote demonic looking, and they just sing about doom and despair and all these dark things, and people tend to not like really take it well. It sort of reminded me of a web induced satanic panic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was a manhunt that was completely uncalled for, because there was absolutely no evidence that this person had anything to do with Alysa Lam,
other than being a somebody who stayed at that hotel. And that's
Yeah.
it.
And they just went based on a hunch. This is why these people piss me off, because they have no empirical, concrete evidence to follow with.
oh, but it's their gut feeling, you know.
Yeah, and that counts for
like,
so fucking much.
yeah, yeah. The poor guy, and
The poor guy, dude.
He said that he was suicidal after that.
He actually tried to kill himself. He
Yeah.
woke up in a hospital.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like all these web sleuths that were featured should at least issue an apology.
Oh,
Because I don't know if it was them or not, but I mean, they're at the forefront of they're representing the community that chased this guy around. They were trying to solve a case that was not a murder, in my opinion.
yeah, and I think that the biggest problem with these web sleuths, Jonathan, is that these people, you know, like clearly the fact that they are on the computer and they're so obsessed with this case that they really want to have quote unquote justice for this girl, and when like the evidence comes out to them and it doesn't, you know, fit
Their narrative.
or it doesn't fit like what they've obsessed over, it's not that they wanted the justice for the girl. They just wanted her to feel the sense of validation. And on top of that, these people are like one of these guys gave me really gave me the feeling that he was in love with Alysa Lam. And it's like, dude, you didn't even know her. Like you, this is like, okay, sure, you felt like a connection because you read her Tumblr post, and she was really very a prolific writer on Tumblr, sharing her thoughts out there. But like, you are reading the thoughts of somebody who isn't alive with us anymore. So
yeah,
at this point, she is not a real person that you're obsessing over. You're obsessing over this idea of this girl who had like very romantic, idealized views and notions, and you're in love with like wanting to get to or wanting to get to know this person who isn't with us anymore because of tragic circumstances.
Yeah, like if nothing had happened to her, I don't think anybody would know her name.
Exactly. And so it's more like they're in love with the idea of Alysa Lam, not actual Alysa Lam. And, you know, and like I felt really nasty watching this documentary as it was going through. Like I felt like this documentary was like what you would see in like it's like those garbage like TV shows that you would see like on like A&E. You know, like those like fucking, is it like 30 Day Fiance or something like that?
90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance, you know, just like that, like, oh, look at this, you know, like it's again, it's not even the girl itself, it's the mystery around what happened to this girl. I feel like if there was a better way to go about this documentary is to actually, like, by the end of episode 1, they could have exactly told us like where she was at, and then episode or how she disappeared. You know how episode 2 ended with the revelation of her being in the water tower? They shouldn't have. They shouldn't. Episode 1 should not have ended with them not knowing what happened to her. They should have revealed her in the water tank in episode 1, and then moved on from there, and then into episode 2 could have just been completely about the aftermath of discovering her, like figuring out what it was that happened to her. You know, like her family coming out and saying that she had a history of mental breakdown, mental illness, and not taking her meds. You know, like it could have, I guess, put those pieces together.
Well, honestly, like as people were talking, like more and more evidence was coming out, and all this evidence should have convinced all these people that, like, hey, this is most likely not foul play.
Yeah,
there is a legitimate reason to believe that Alysa Lam was having a psychotic episode.
Yeah,
as like honestly, as soon as they revealed, like, not only was she bipolar, but she also had type 1 bipolar disorder.
which is
No.
the one that creates psychotic episodes. Or
yeah, it's the worst one. It's the most severe.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know why. I don't know if her parents revealed to the cops right away that she had mental illness or not.
Honestly, we don't really even know. Like her family was very absent in this documentary, which also just kind of tells you like what kind of documentary they were making. The fact that they instead of including the family, they included these people from the internet.
Yeah, I don't think we saw them other than
In the background.
in the background of when the police were making the announcements.
Yeah. Like as far as I'm concerned, they weren't involved in this documentary.
No, not at all. But they wanted to sensationalize.
Oh yes, thank you for saying that word. Thank you for saying that word, because that's exactly where I was trying to get this conversation to head. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's what they're doing. They're taking this tragic thing and they're making such a gigantic thing, like this giant
TMZ post about it.
TMZ post about it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Where it shouldn't be about like the mystery behind it.
Yeah,
it should be more of a PSA for mental illness.
Yeah, and then like they tacked it on at the very end, and like this is something they could have put it at the beginning. Like I said, it did not need to be 4 episodes, but like yeah, like it could have been more of a PSA for like the mental illness, like especially like giving highlight to type 1 bipolar or the whatever you called it earlier. But instead they wanted to, like you said, sensationalize the fact that the Night Stalker was there.
Or that killer from Austria.
The killer from Austria. I don't know anything about that. I don't remember that in the documentary. Was that in the documentary?
Yeah, I think it was episode 3.
Okay.
They're talking about like he got out of jail and like all of a sudden there were deaths around his area in Austria, and then he escaped to LA and they stopped over there, and all of a sudden it picked up in LA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The guy that was he was posing as he was posing as somebody, right?
He was posing as a journalist.
As a journalist. Yes. Okay, I do remember now. Yeah. The fact that they brought him in there, and he had like, and then also like mentioning that the hotel is off of Skid Row, where murders and like just
it's
overall
a giant homeless population, dude.
No, I know, but like and when they were talking about Skid Row, the manager of the hotel, she was talking about how like they found like sniper weapons in the hallway, people like running into their rooms because a murder had just occurred, like they really like leaned into those things. And it's worth mentioning at the very least, but like spending so much time on it when the fact that this girl died because of mental illness and not having taken her medication almost like makes that information irrelevant. This girl who had who has a history of not taking her medication stayed in this really sketchy hotel, and it
in the middle of one of the most dangerous blocks in LA.
Exactly. That is crazy. And of course it would cause like this commotion and this mystery about where what happened to her. But it should not have been the entire thesis of the documentary for it to have ended the way that it did, and then just be like, it actually was this, and
we were wrong. We're sorry,
dude.
We're sorry. It reminds me
oh my god,
of South Park. We're sorry. That's what they should have done, honestly.
Yeah.
And okay, so I had this
hold on. Jonathan, they literally entertained the idea of government conspiracy. They thought that she was a double agent.
They thought that they wanted to get rid of the homeless population by introducing tuberculosis.
Because her name, because her name somehow like connects to like the code name of TB.
Yeah, the test is called a Lam Alysa.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, there's a lot of coincidences in this.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that.
Yeah.
So her name's Alysa Lam. The test for tuberculosis is a Lam Alysa. Literally the same words switched. Yeah. But that's the thing with coincidences.
And then
if they didn't happen, they wouldn't be coincidences. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man, Jonathan, like I'm like scratching my, not scratching my head, but I'm like rubbing like my temples right now, just like trying to fathom that we just literally talked about government conspiracy.
It's so dumb. Oh, dude, I just looked it up. It's not even about a name.
It's not?
No, it's so the first word, the part for lamb is lipoarabinomannan.
Mm-hmm.
And they shortened that to lamb because who the fuck wants to say that? But the second part is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, which is Alysa. You take the initials of that.
Yeah.
So, okay. I don't understand that, but I'm pretty sure some scientists came up with the name that, like, that's how they usually come up with them.
Yeah.
It's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Just a very weird coincidence in a very weird case in a very weird hotel.
Yeah. All right, John. I'm glad that you're feeling I'm glad that you're feeling more so in tune with me, because I felt I came out of it feeling very negative about it. You I thought that we were gonna end up on opposite ends of this, because you said that that you it wasn't the best documentary you've seen, but that it was at least interesting for you.
Like, it was interesting in the fact that it showed a bunch of details that I didn't know, because like I said, I never really got into the case.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard it on my periphery.
Right.
And that's it. I knew what happened to her. I knew they found her, but I didn't know the details. I didn't know that she had a history of mental illness, and I didn't know that, you know, all the things that happened, people were just going crazy about. I had no idea that there was an internet investigation going on. Yeah. And, something I was going to say. I feel bad about thinking this, but I feel like it needs to be said. Why would her family, knowing full well that she has a history of having episodes,
allow her to go on this trip?
Yes.
Alone?
Like, I don't want to put any sort of blame on them.
Yeah.
I don't want to point any fingers or anything.
But it's a question worth asking.
It's a question worth asking.
Yeah.
I've thankfully never have to deal with any mental illness in my family or anything like that. But I have been witness to other people having to deal with it. It's bad if you don't know how to deal with it, how to live around that issue. If you don't know how to treat whoever is afflicted, it's very hard on those people. It's so hard, which is why I'm saying I don't want to point any fingers at the family, but at the same time,
no, I get it.
You should. You know, there should be some accountability as to why they let her go. Yeah, she is 21. Or she was 21, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean,
and
that's
she was an adult.
That's probably why they didn't have a presence in the documentary. They probably didn't want that question to be brought up, you know? I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of. Mm-hmm.
From what I know about Asian culture and Asian families, they tend to be very reserved.
Yeah.
Especially first generation immigrants.
Yeah.
because they bring all these ideas and cultural beliefs from from their land. Like I understand, I know a lot of families too, like not just from Asia, like from Mexico, from Europe.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
They
have a
have their
conversation
own-
with my grandpa.
Yeah,
Yeah, have a conversation with either of our families, and you would know, you would experience it firsthand. There's a
yeah, but
yeah.
there's always a belief that like you should be compliant because what are people going to say?
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
that's definitely a big one in Mexican households, and it's probably the same with Asian households.
I have to imagine, but I mean, I kind of want to steer the conversation away from that at this point, because I don't really think that there's a whole lot much more to add about that. But like, I wanted to talk about the manager of the hotel, because she was there from 2007 until 2017, when the Cecil Hotel officially closed doors and they got a new owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was there for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those 10 years, she said in the documentary that she witnessed about 80 murders.
Jesus Christ.
Why
about
the fuck did you stay there for 10 years? Why was this a job that you wanted to continue to maintain for 10 years?
I mean,
Get your experience and get out.
well, I mean, I know general managers for hotels, especially hotels as big as those, they make really good money.
I mean, it must have been it must have been a good amount that is she stayed there for 10 years. But I have to ask. I personally have to ask. The moment that I see a dead body in a hallway, or if I'm dealing with tweakers and I'm dealing with like the dangerousness that comes with living in or being in a dangerous area, like I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna get out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan, you know where I grew up. You've been to my childhood home. You saw the atmosphere that we were at. There's a reason we're not there anymore.
Yeah, it was a little sketch.
It was bad, dude. It was bad. I don't know, just the entire just because personally I have been in that environment, or in an environment that is very similar to what Skid Row looks like, or at least the way that they presented Skid Row to be. I mean, a cop says that he saw, when just patrolling the area, that he saw a homeless man bite the head off of a pigeon. Like, it was not a good
in all
area.
fairness,
I mean, if you're getting paid over $100K a year to be there, I mean, I hope it's worth it. I hope it was worth it.
In all fairness to the homeless guy with the pigeon, Ozzy Osbourne did bite the head off a bat on stage. So,
yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
It was pretty rock and roll.
if anything, that dude has street cred. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's like back then. It was pretty dangerous, because I don't know if you've been to LA lately, especially downtown LA, especially Skid Row.
Yeah,
dude, it is just entire blocks of homeless encampments.
yeah. I mean, I've seen some of it. I've seen it from a distance. I think the last time I was in LA was probably 2018. I don't like LA. I try to stay away from LA as much as possible.
I hear you. Last time I went, it was because we just spent the whole day at Little Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty nice, but we just stayed within that bubble.
Yeah.
Because if you go east, I'm sorry. If you go east from Little Tokyo, it's basically Skid Row, and yeah, it's pretty bad. I skimmed the outside of it getting to Little Tokyo in my car, and it was, you just look to your left and it's like that scene from The Simpsons when Homer is going down in a canoe in the river. And it's like on one side is like the really nice, bright sunshine,
Yeah.
safe, calm river, and the other side it's dark, cloudy, dead trees, and there's like rapids ahead.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
He's like at a fork of he's like on the canoe. He's like at a kind of at the fork of the river, and he's trying to decide where he's gonna go. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know, man. I hope it was worth it, but the documentary ended with her like hoping that the Cecil Hotel, or like under the new management, whatever it's called now, like it that it thrives. And you know what, man, like I guess kind of thinking on it, she made it her passion project.
I think that's what it was. I think that's one of the reasons that she stayed
because
there.
Because she really, really, really tried. I mean, she
really tried.
She like changed, and it like her strategy kind of worked, because the stay on Main was thriving. They were even able to sell rooms at a higher price. Like hey, that was pretty cool. I gotta admit that.
And the hotel's got history.
Yeah.
One of the big reasons it didn't flourish in the beginning was because of the Great Depression.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think the Great Depression killed the momentum that the hotel had in the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had the Black Dahlia, who stayed there. Elizabeth Short, and it's just a series of unfortunate things that's happened at that hotel. But that's the thing. It's like, it was one of the more affordable hotels in a very dangerous city. Shit's about to go down. Shit's bound to happen. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was that hotel where it happened. So the fact that people are attributing like some sort of hidden darkness and mystery to the hotel, it's more like it should be expected.
Yeah.
Because the affordable housing part of it, they're not doing background checks on people that are staying there.
Oh no, and they mentioned it. They mentioned it too, that it's a good place to go if you are if you're running away, or if you don't have any papers on you or something. Like it's a good like lay low type of spot.
Yeah, it is. But like, I saw a comment on online talking about the documentary, and they were talking about the janitor.
Yeah.
The Hispanic janitor that found Alysa Lam, and it's like, you can see in his eyes that man has seen some shit.
Oh yeah, dude, I was thinking the same thing when I seen him.
And you really could. Like, I really focused on him every time he came up.
And you could tell too that like he was very careful with his words too. That he didn't want to say more than he absolutely needed to.
Yeah, because he's been witness to a bunch of things.
Yeah,
he definitely has. And it's that hotel. It's like the history behind it it's compelling.
And if they had done a documentary, specifically focusing on that history and some of the crazy things that have happened, I think it could still work as a documentary, because they had good stuff in there. I just think that focusing the entire documentary on this one girl, while trying to also include the history of the the hotel, to surround the mystery of this girl's disappearance, for it to ultimately lead into like, well, it was an accidental death, was not the most tasteful way to go about it, I think.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was sensationalizing a death.
Yeah, basically. All right, man. I think I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. What about you?
Um, I don't know. I feel like we should end it just by saying, we feel that Alysa Lam's death was unfortunate, a very unfortunate accident.
Mm-hmm.
People should just be aware of your loved ones, and try not to stay in dangerous places. There's really nothing else I can say.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
On the note of the British couple, I feel really bad for them. I mean,
Oh
how
yes,
how
they
how
drank the
could
water.
how could they ever know? That you're traveling to a foreign country. You think you're thinking that like it's not that bad, right? I mean, like celebrities live in L.A.
Yep.
I could see that train of thought. Just do your
But
research,
it's
people. Do your research. That's really
yeah, and that's the thing. If you're a foreigner or like not even from California, there's really no way for you to know that LA proper isn't that great.
no.
It's the larger metropolitan area that you want to be aware of.
Yeah, or just go to Orange County. Go hang out in Orange County somewhere. You'll be okay. They got Disneyland over there.